All music is the same. It's just a new set of lyrics and a new backbeat.
So, AndreGraziadei from Backbeat Experience. Today in a chat with Dennis Ward, again from Pink Green 69. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule. 30 years together, the band has been.
Yeah.
12 studio album. You guys are like back in the groove?
Slowly but surely. I mean, we've been away for a year and a half almost, with minus the couple shows we did on this boat trip, this cruise in Miami.
Oh, that's nice.
And now we're getting the groove of things again, trying to get this support tour finished up, and possibly a couple of shows in the summer, and then to concentrate on a headliner tour sometime in fall if everything goes well. But yeah, and we are getting back in the groove. We're trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, and why to do it. But it's going pretty well so far.
Well, the new album now is more riff orientated. You know,
yes.
More to the mainstream heavy, less. You probably you chopped all the keyboards.
Purposely, yeah. I actually sat down for the last two albums, specifically the last two, because I was trying to figure out what is bothering me. Some things I knew in advance. Mainly stylistically, I was thinking, you know, we're not doing this, we're not doing that anymore. Why don't we do this? And I totally asked myself, why do we have keyboards? I mean, it's okay if you got a theme or a certain definite part or the intro to a song. Okay, all right, no problem. You don't put your keyboards in, it's all fine. But we were layering stuff, and I was like, this is so pointless. Why do we do this? Why do we write songs like this? And I told the guys that I want to write songs that don't need this. And we did it. There's one song on the record that has a little tiny bit of, there's a little carpet of keyboards in the background that you don't even, to be honest, if I turned it off, you probably wouldn't.
You hit it so well, I can't find it.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. So, but we actually did it. Not one song has keyboards except for this one.
Back to the meat and potatoes.
Exactly. And I said I wanted to have riffs again. I want to have guitar parts. You got two guitar players in the band, two great guitar players, and I'm missing my riffs. There's no bits and stuff. So I insisted on it. And we recorded purposely more songs. There are actually two songs that we completely recorded, mixed, mastered, and didn't put on the album because we knew it would throw the record off balance.
Bonus tracks?
Not even as a bonus.
Not even?
Not even as a bonus.
Somewhere down the line.
Maybe
dig it out of the vaults.
Dig it out of the vault one day, but we realized we got a rockin' album going, a guitar-oriented album, finally. And those two songs would have totally whacked the whole thing off balance. So we said, no, we're going to keep it nice and short, sweet, to the point, and rock. And there was a lot of discussions at first about doing it, but it was completely worth it because the end results were that we're getting really good reviews. And we feel that we have a solid record. When I listen to it personally, I'm going, yeah, now it's in balance. It's a rock record with two guitar players showing their thing, songs based around guitar, because we're a guitar band. And yeah, finally, you know, we reached our goal.
I think you've reached it, yeah.
It was a lot of work.
you consider yourself a qualified gearhead?
Well, it depends how you say that.
Well,
I
saw you online. You put together your own microphones.
Yeah, I like to have stuff. I'm a fan of building stuff just because it's just fun.
Okay.
And yeah, put it this way: if I had 100 guitars, I would not say no to them.
Right.
But of course, I'm realistic. You know, I can't say, you know, tell my son he's not going to get some new jeans, therefore Papa's going to get a new guitar. I won't do that. You know, I'm realistic about stuff.
Right.
And I can talk with people about gear for hours. You know?
Okay.
Be it guitars or studio gear or anything, I can waste my complete.
Well, you don't have to own it, but you can talk about it.
That too, yeah. Owning is more fun, of course. But yes, I'm a nerd about it.
Okay.
Definitely nerd. No matter what, guitar, studio gear, microphones, whatever.
So I guess gearhead would qualify.
Absolutely.
All right. So making your own microphones, are you aiming for like a different sound?
No, absolutely not. I'm trying to recreate what's there on a budget.
Okay.
It's like this. After making a few kits and, you know, dabbling a little bit in electronics. My father was in electronics, and I learned in my early years and then didn't do much. And I started reading again because everything's accessible online. You can, you know, really get back to the roots. And I went back into it and relearned stuff and started making little foot pedals and some crap. And then I started making some kits. And I said, I want to make it now on my own, really based on the schematic of old gear from the 50s and 60s. And I started doing that really from scratch, you know, just getting the parts, looking for special parts, trying things out, putting it together, looking at the end results. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Well, you know, what's better, what's not? And trying stuff out with Michael Kiske, who's also a complete gear nut. And then we write each other almost on a daily basis about, let's try this, let's try that. Have you tried that? I've made him 4 microphones alone. And we're always checking stuff out and trying to get the new ultimate whatever. And it's not because of the money per se, but the fact is, I found out that company X will sell a microphone for about 14K or 16K, and I'll build it for 2. And it will definitely compete. It will probably more than compete. We've done our tests, and I'm proud to say that I will never spend that much money for a microphone.
So it's the adventure and the challenge.
Adventure, challenge, and the end result is that it is definitely as good, if not better.
By all means.
Absolutely.
So are you doing more vocals on this new album, Headstrong?
No, not at all. I'm doing about the same amount of choir that I would always do. As a matter of fact, I did a bit less because I was actually sick when we were getting to the end of it.
Okay.
And I couldn't do all the stuff I wanted to do. So I had to send it to Dave, and he had to, in his studio, had to finish shit up that I would have normally done because I just wasn't kicking it, you know? I was sick for like over a month, really, you know, coughing and cold, and just, I lost my voice completely for 2 weeks where I could not even hardly get a word out.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't had that since I was a teenager. That was really weird. So I didn't, but I wanted to. But I'm there a lot. I'm definitely in every song.
Yeah, there are some harmonies in there that I could pick out.
Yeah.
The new album, okay, Headspace. No, what is it?
Headstrong.
Headstrong. I actually get my headspace going here. So I think of I mean, I mentioned that the last time we met for ceremonial.
Right.
That the band reminds me very much of stuff like Trying for Van Halen, April 1, and so.
Right.
But I mean, you know, 30 years on, and now the 12th album. I mean, now you could just basically say it's pretty green.
Yeah, I think that's what I meant. What we're really happy about the album is that it's finally got identity to it, which it was always our thing there, everywhere. But then there's always 2 or 3 songs that come kind of like I said, threw it off balance. You know, like experimental was our excuse all the time. We're always saying we're going to experiment with this and that. And I'm like, you know, you can experiment your first 3-4 albums, it's okay. But after that, you got to, you know, kind of define yourself. Or you're a band like Queen that just makes this kind of an album, then they make that kind of an album and that. And we're not Queen. So my argument was always, till the end, till we got to the production, was we're a guitar band. Let's try to keep it that way. With, you know, even if it's a fight, you know, and even if you got a song with the best piano part in the world, I don't care. Let's replace it with a guitar. And it was, you know, there were some discussions. I'm not gonna lie about it, but it, yeah. I think now we have this album defined the pink cream that we wanted, and if we can stay on this way, I'll be very happy.
So listening to the album, I look at the cover and the content of the songs. Is there some kind of subconscious undertone jab at the music industry?
Not at the music industry, but industry is not a bad way to put it. It's pretty much
or society in general.
Society in general, which everybody has done 100 times. I realize that, but you know, but it's like so odd. It's like you're getting lied to in your face. You're getting crap thrown at you all the time from everybody. Like this. Buy this toothpaste as an example if you want to get into commercialism about it. Buy this toothpaste because, you know, 3 out of 4 dentists recommend it or some crap like that. And you know it's bullshit. Everybody knows it's bullshit. You're taught it's bullshit when you're growing up as a small child. And they still throw it in your face like you're going to believe this crap. You know, and I don't know if these naive people still actually exist in the world. I find it hard to believe. They do, but not in the numbers that they do. I mean, well, we're sort of a little bit more conscious than we were 50 years ago. And be it that, or like your bank saying, you know, we'll give you a loan and where you're going to end up paying less than you borrowed and shit like this, where you're going, no, I'm not. You know, of course I'm not. It's just stupid shit, and it's everywhere, and it's in politics, and it's even in the law, you know, and it's everywhere. It's like, an example today. I had to go pick up, what do you call it, prescription from my doctor. And I parked in the town right next to the entrance of my doctor. Normally you got to, you know, put a coin in the machine.
Parking meter.
Right? And I know they always have it ready. I really got to just go over there, say hi, they give it to me, and I'll walk out. And it's like a 30-second ordeal.
Right.
So I park, I do that, come back, and this lady's already checking the meters. She's like, you know, you can't just do that what you just did. And I said, well, I'm here before you are. And she says, no, but that's not right. And I said, yeah, you want me to walk about 500 meters down to that machine, pay for it, come back to my car, put the stupid ticket in there, then go do what I just did, which has extended my whole process in time about 200%, which is, I'm using up a parking place that this guy could be using that's looking for one right now. How pointless is that, you know? I understand there's rules and regulations, but sometimes you use common sense and say, okay, it doesn't matter. And that's not happening enough. There's too many people based around, they want my rights, and it's my right, and it says in this book, and everybody, and that is the undertone to everything, you know, about you know, how ridiculous sometimes things is, and we should wake up and be a little bit more conscious, a little bit more headstrong about things, and think about shit, and don't evaluate everything, and don't make rules and regulations to how we breathe our own air, you know. We're individuals, we don't need rules for some things, you know. If you want to piss to the left or to the right, that's your choice. Do what you want, you know.
So I was looking at the track listing on the album. The band starts off with "We Bow to None." It's like straight ahead. It's like a speeding train coming out of the box.
Yeah. When
Does that set the tone for the album?
Kind of. Yeah and no. Basically, that was one of the first songs that Kuffel introduced.
Okay.
Right. And I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, we got our opener." It was like from the day one.
Really?
We got our opener. And as the songs develop, I always think, okay, something else is going to happen, but no, it didn't. It was like, that was obvious from day one that it's an opener, and it stayed that way, and it pretty much, you know, when I said riffs and guitar, that's what he came up with, and it set the pace, you know, so because of that song, we just continued and you know, carried on with the riff thing, and it just stayed that way. Since the first day.
And then the next track, Walls Come Down, is that kind of like an ode to Donald Trump?
Sort of fits, doesn't it? You know, I put it this way: there's a lot of people that you can
lump that into.
Yeah, a lot of people. You know, it is about narcissism, absolutely.
Right.
It is about the me, the me monster, and saying that, you know, I go back to the thing about being conscious about stuff. That people are waking up to something. I feel it. I really do, that people are slowly but surely becoming less naive in a natural way. Not because they're being taught, but it's just like, that's a stupid shit. Why are you telling me this stupid shit? You know, I don't have to believe this stupid shit anymore. And yes, these walls are falling down, and that was the concept of it.
Unite and Divide is kind of like the yin and yang of life.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, that sums it up there.
Yeah.
No More Fear. Riff rock all the way.
Yeah,
kind of like grabs you by the balls.
Absolutely. That was also a song, the riff that Kuffel came up with. And the whole point of that one was also just, you know, like I said, no more fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. People have anxieties and they waste their times on a daily basis, so busy worrying about what could go wrong that it does go wrong because they waste their time worrying about it. And it doesn't matter. If there is something that's inevitable, it's going to be inevitable whether you worry about it or not. So why just not worry about it and don't be afraid and just go on with life? Because they're so like death. It's going to come.
They're so focused on it, they're aiming straight to it.
They're aiming straight to it and getting nothing that they're not spending time with the family, or they're not getting their life together, not enjoying life, because they're so busy being scared and enjoying being scared somehow. Because I really feel there's people that actually enjoy it because they're so, it's like they're looking for troubles and looking to be afraid and looking to have anxieties so that their life has some kind of meaning. And I find it to be a little bit pathetic. So yeah, we're trying to clear that up.
Path of Destiny, what do you got to say to that song?
That's pretty much like it says, Path of Destiny. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no wrong, there's no right. You know, destiny. If you're going to believe in destiny, you got to believe in it 100%. You can't just say, no, destiny's there, but not always, because sometimes things go. No, you don't know. Everything happens. It just happens because it happens, and you can't say it will or won't. And there's no reason to think about it. It is destiny. There is a destiny, be it good or bad. So again, go back to no more fear. Don't worry about it. Don't be afraid.
Man of Sorrow. I viewed it as a single, and sure enough, you guys did a video to it.
Yeah.
Great melodic rock piece.
Yeah, that was a very inspiring song. When Kuffel brought that one in, I think I heard it, I put it in my computer, his instrumental, and threw down a vocal like right away, because it's one of the songs I heard and I was like, I got something now, and I got to put it down now because it was just clear. The song was like done in no time because of that. Yeah. And that song is about, that's a story. We haven't done many of these, and I like doing them every now and then, about a guy that's just, you know, everything's gone wrong for him, you know, and it's, you know, you can look at it a few different ways. And it's just a sad story about you trying your best, trying to do all the dogmas and trying to follow the rules and the status quo of life, and still shit goes wrong. And, you know, it's just basically a sad story. Hug.
Chris popping in on
Chris
us.
popping in on us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a sad story.
Yeah. Well, stories. Yeah, I'm thinking back to Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah.
When he came out with the Ballad of John Henry, he said he wanted to start telling stories.
Right.
He, like, changed his style of writing.
You're right. I enjoy both. You know, I find myself usually writing about, you know, things that I've experienced or my feelings of the day. Not necessarily about that asshole parked in front of me and fuck him, but, you know, just about life in general. But after I worked with Gus G on the Firewind album as a producer and songwriter, and he insisted on a concept album, so I was kind of forced to write in a certain way lyrically. And I thought, well, that's cool. I want to do that to myself. I want to, you know, insist that I do something. I said, I want to write a story about something. And the Man of Sorrow just was there. It just was in the melody. It was right there from the first day. And I thought, what can I write about? And I came with this theme about this poor guy living in his little apartment, you know, trying to have a normal life, and things go wrong for him all the time. And he actually ends up getting thrown in jail because of something that was really nothing. And yeah, so I wrote a story to it. Just the first time, I think, really ever.
The other track, which I think also is quite likely a single, was probably the bookends to that, Vagrant of the Night.
Vagrant of the Night.
Great acoustic track.
Yeah, that was also one that was, it started off as it was going to be an interlude. Couple made this, you know, this guitar theme, this beginning. And I was like, I can totally hear a ballad, a complete song. He's like, no, it's just this and that. So I took it and I worked on it and twisted it and put this melody to it. And it was also done, it was like one of the last songs that came, it was the last song, as a matter of fact, that's right. And the last songs, we were in the recording process before the song was arranged or anything. And I just cut things around and tried this and said, look at this, we can do this and that and it'll be a ballad. And lo and behold, it turned out to be really good. It fits Dave's voice perfectly, but I kind of knew that. We're not so into ballad singles anymore, you know. Mainly because we want to concentrate on the guitar side of the record, but I agree, I think it could be. If it was 1985, we'd be happy to release it as a single. But we just think it's a really nice ballad. It was also a story. It was also about, you know, a woman losing her way. Going from home early and, you know, ending up being living on the streets and, you know, becoming a vagrant of the night. Her life was in the nighttime, and you know what that means, you know. So,
Bloodsucker, state of the music industry today.
That's yes and no. That's also one that can go a lot of ways. It is about a little bit about the music industry, but it's also about that asshole that just takes advantage of you.
Okay.
I try to twist it so it, you know, sort of fits in every direction. Because I think we all got that one guy that thinks he's just cool, or girl.
Yeah, he's in the White House.
And yeah. And he's just, you know, taking advantage of any situation he can. He's saying anything to get what he wants. You know, okay, that fits too, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, it was also not really a story about anyone's particular, but we all know this guy.
Yeah, right. Whistleblower, Julian Assange, Wiki.
Perfect, absolutely. Not just him, but you know, there's a lot of countries, things in Brazil that's going on with the corruption there, things that happen in France. All over the world, there's people coming out, finally, and going, you know, I know shit. And now we see it, you know,
Me Too.
But Trump with his porn star thing, you know?
Or the Me Too.
Or the Me Too thing.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, like, well, finally, let's get, it's all about the fear thing again. People are not being afraid, they're becoming conscious, and they're saying what they feel. And what they want to say, or what they should say, they realize, I have to say this. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not going through life like this anymore. Too many people still are, but I mean, alone when you see, in some places, you know, there'll be a car accident and people just drive by because I got shit to do, my life's more important than yours. So fuck him, I'm not going to help him. And nowadays, I just heard about something that happened recently in England. about the guy getting off a train and getting beat up by a gang, and the passing train saw it, and they stopped, and the driver and people on the train got off to help him.
Wow, that's unusual.
That's unusual.
Okay.
Right? That's goes along with that concept too. That people are,
eventually doing something.
Eventually, but finally.
Yeah.
Right.
The Other Man, a really nice melodic rollout to the album.
The Other Man, I gotta remember that one. I gotta remember the lyrics of that. I'm not quite sure what that one is about. That was also
last track of the album.
Yeah, the last.
I say it's a nice melodic rollout to the album.
Yeah, that was our song that we weren't really sure where that was going to go, but we also felt it closed things up really nice because it adds power and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember what the hell the theme was. I got a little blackout about that.
Well, I don't have the lyrics in my head right now.
Me either. The Other Man.
But I noticed you guys have a bonus track for Japan. What is it, acoustic remix of?
Of Vagrant of the Night.
Vagrant of the Night.
That's just.
I mean, it's already acoustic.
But it goes. We turn off the drums and turned up the keyboards. And it's completely. It's just. To be honest, that's fulfilling a contractual agreement.
Okay.
And I've done it many times. And before I take a song and just, I don't want to give people shitty songs.
Right.
I think that's completely pointless. And then to give a good song away that's only going to be released in this one area, I don't think it's fair to the other fans. So I refuse to do it anymore. So I agree to do remixes or maybe a live shit. I don't have a problem with that, But to just throw a song away, and the worst, I don't know why bands do this. It's our shittiest song, so we're going to give it away as a bonus. Shitty songs shouldn't be given to anybody. It should just stay shitty in your vault and locked away forever. I think that's the right way to do it. I'd rather you recorded something on an acoustic guitar that you've already played 1,000 times on stage. My opinion, okay? So we did exactly kind of that and just remixed a special intimate version of the ballad.
Well, I gotta give you a handshake because with the Headstrong, you packed on a live album with it.
Yeah, that was
so. I mean, that's a nice nod to the fans.
Yeah, and it's funny, you got a lot of backlash about that. Why no DVD?
What?
Because there was no cameras there.
Quite simple.
Yeah, I had to really get involved with some fans and just explain it in a nice way that that's fucked up. No DVD. I was like, first of all, it's free.
Yeah,
you're welcome. Secondly, there's no cameras. Actually, there was one camera shot, and we don't know where the hell the footage is. It's just disappeared. Originally, I recorded it, and I just wanted to, have some songs to throw out and release every now, just for fun, And as I started mixing this thing, I was like, well, this whole song's pretty good too. That one turned out pretty hard too. I was surprised. Well, we played well that night, but damn. Well, I think it was like 9 songs in there. I was like, well, these are all fine for release.
And that was pretty much on home territory.
Yeah, and it was almost the whole show. And I was like, well, I've got it almost basically mixed anyway. And I was like, fuck it, let's just throw it as a bonus. Why not? Screw it, I'm already done. So, so we just thought we'd lay it, include it for fun. And like I said, I was really proud to do it because it was a really good night, and we really played well. So yeah, there you go, a little freebie.
Well, I was looking at your website, your personal website. I was pleasantly surprised that your website, your discography of work.
Oh yeah,
there's a pretty impressive track record. Of course, mostly in the rock vein.
Yeah, of course.
But did this come about with the cooperation with Frontiers Records, or is that just?
Yeah, I haven't done a lot with Frontiers in quite a while, to be honest.
But you guys are on their label now.
We are on the label, and I'm still doing some stuff. I'm going to do another Chimera album, which I'm kind of late doing. And last is Liam. I fucking million. Yeah, I have done. And I want to do, but this next couple of years, I'm sort of like concentrating on being a musician again. It's not that I'm tired of doing productions. I like doing productions, and I will continue doing them. When something interesting comes, I will do them for sure. But I'm involved working with Gus, a lot of stuff, and his solo album, which will be coming out in April, where I'm actually singing as well as producing and playing bass. And we're going on the road too. And I said, I'm gonna be a bass player again. I'm kind of like tired of being a studio, sitting around, getting old, bass player.
Sort of like what Clapton did with Delaney and Bonnie.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I just want to be a guitarist.
I just want to go out and be a musician, just do musician stuff and play all the time and rehearse and all that stuff that I've rehearsed the last 4 or 5 months literally more than I had in the previous 15 years before. I would just rehearse out of the need because we're playing a show. Oh shit, we're playing? Okay, I'm ready, you know. And now I'm sitting at home working stuff out and trying and going for hours, and usually after an hour I get tired and want to take a break, and now I can play like 4 or 5 hours through, which is pretty impressive considering I used to just get off the stage with you know, blisters and sores and shit because I wasn't fit, you know, I wasn't really fit for it. So that's my goal for the moment, and that might change again, but I got the chance to do a lot of stuff with Pink Cream right now, and a lot of stuff with Gus, and so I'm gonna, you know, take advantage of it and you know, play my little musician role for a while and see how long that holds out. And I'm gonna be singing on stage as a front man, and that's cool. We did it in December in the States, the East Coast. We played 10 shows with Vinnie Moore together, and that was a cool experience. And I also got to be bass player for Vinnie Moore's band. It was really, really cool because he's one of the best guitar players also in the world. It's really cool to do something like that. And that's why I got the kick, I got the buzz again, because it's like, wow, it's great to do these amazing musicians. They were all amazing, I got to tell you, everybody. And that really sort of, you know, lit my flame, and I got like, oh, I wanted to, like I was 15 again. I wanted to
got get charged up again.
Yeah, it really did. So that's my thing for the moment right now.
Well, your collaboration with Gus G, I mean, you produced and you did the vocals, you sang on this. Is this the first time you've sung for an entire album?
No, I've done quite a few. I've done 3 albums with Chimera. Oh. So it's with Frontiers, a project for Frontier. Okay. And which I'm doing now another one. I've sung here and there some odd things that got released or didn't, I don't know. A couple of projects. But I've been doing my own demos for years, you know, and I've actually had a secret dream since I was a teenager to have like a trio. That was always my thing. I always wanted to do it, but it's like,
well,
you're unheard of.
You're a fan of the Police, you're a fan of Rush.
Exactly.
I mean, they were trios.
Exactly. That, the Triumph, whatever. You know, I've always been a fan of it, and they know, it was like this with Gus. We'd actually had a singer that we'd flown in from LA, and we're doing the record, and we got the songs done, and Gus wasn't there, and it was okay, you know, and I sent Gus the track, and he's like, what is this? I was like, yeah, that's what we got, you know? And he said, well, this isn't what I want. And I was like, yeah, but that's what we got, man.
That's what we agreed on.
And so we you know, thought, okay, who could we get, and oh shit, what could we do, you know? And he says to me, you know, whoever we get, it's got to be at least as good as the damn demo, or it's pointless. And I said, well, Gus, if you want, I'll sing it. And he was like,
good idea.
I never thought about that. I said, yeah, but what about like playing bass? I said, I'll play bass too. As a matter of fact, it would be a trio. A lot easier to handle live, don't you think? He's like, well, I never thought about it like that. Yeah, you really want to do that? And I said, you got time for that? I said, I'll make time. Just tell me if you want to do it or not. And he's like, thought about it, and then calls me up and says, fuck it, let's do this. Come on, let's do this. I thought about it. How much cooler it could be? 3 people, no stress. You're not really a singer, so I don't have to hate you. I was like, okay. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. So, so we gave it a shot, like I said, in the States. And needless to say, we've agreed that we want to give this a definite try and, you know, have at least a lot of fun with it. It's an easy to handle kind of a thing, especially when you travel as a trio. You don't need a lot, and it's just a lot easier to manage, you know. And it's fun, you know. I've been wanting to do this, like I said, since I was a teenager. I did it in the past, and it was actually very, very cool. But in the 80s, for some reason, I don't never figure this out. Name one cool 80s band, especially in the hair time, that had a singer, guitar player, bass player, singer. Not trio necessarily, but
not trio.
Other than Thin Lizzy, or name one. For some reason, it was not accepted.
No.
Nobody wanted to have that. Right? The singer had to dance around and do kung fu kicks and you know, something, exactly, all that shit. It had to be. The singer had to be free to show off, and there were no bands. You know, nowadays, you got a lot of bands performing as musicians and singers, and for some reason, it was just not accepted in the 80s, or nobody wanted to have it. Sure, you had Triumph, you had Rush, but they were there before, you know, and Thin Lizzy's. They were all from the 70s, you know. They allowed that because they're old guys, they can do that. But there was no new stuff coming out, you know. So, it seemed to be like a status quo back then. I don't know what the issue was, but I always wanted to do it. Nobody wanted to do it with me, so I ended up becoming a bass player for Pink Green.
There you go. So you're part-time, where it's at, I don't know if it's part-time or full-time, whatever. Of course, your love of producing and engineering, you finally got to do some work in Abbey Road. How did that come about?
Well, Crocus, they wanted to. They just wanted to. They insisted on it.
Okay.
And I couldn't say no. I mean,
that's like a holy grail.
Yeah, that's like I walked in there.
Of recording.
Yeah, I was just, I was just a tourist, to be honest. I was walking around, looking at all the rooms. They were showing me things and telling me things. They showed me the microphone room where I almost literally just jizzed myself because it was. Sorry to say it like that, but it's a room about this size with little boxes and trays of microphones. And they showed me microphones like the one John Lennon used, and I see an aura around it and hear angels singing, when they're presenting it to me, and I'm just like amazed. A room where they have like old, smelly, musty room where they have a couple of microphones, which was the reverb chamber. There's an old speaker in the back, and they just. This is how they made reverb, by throwing sound into an empty room and recording it. And all the albums that that sound, and it came from this, wow. And then the old rooms, and everything technically is quite modern because, the shit fell apart after a while. But you knew all those steps going up to the control room. I remember seeing the Beatles stand there. Oh wow, that was pretty amazing shit. And at the end of the day, we just recorded vocals and a piano there. But hell, I didn't care. I had fun there,
Are there any? Do you think there are any ghosts in Abbey Road?
Well, I don't think there's any ghosts anywhere, so it's kind of hard for me to actually know that. Because I'm probably the last person in the world that's going to believe in ghosts or aliens or shit like that. Not to say they don't exist.
Who knows?
They sure as hell ain't walking around hiding behind rocks and doing this dumb shit. If there's any aliens out there, they're looking at us going, you fuckers. But I don't believe in like spooky shit. I was never scared. I like scary movies where you get a little scared and maybe there's something out there. But I can't believe that. When you're 50 years old and you never saw one, there's never even remotely like that. I don't believe it now.
And there's no proof.
And there's no proof except for crappy, cheap YouTube videos where somebody's buddy's hiding in the woods with like sunglasses on or something.
So being in Abbey Road Studios, I think of producers, engineers like, of course, George Martin. I mean, legendary.
Oh, yes.
Glenn Johns or Jack Douglas. Who would
George Martin.
George Martin.
George Martin. That's George Martin.
That's be all end all.
That's it. The others don't matter.
Really?
Because of him, yes. He's just because he did what he did with what he did.
At the time.
Yeah.
Hats off to that.
And then if I listen to it now, I'm still going, God,
how did he do that?
How did he do that?
Well, I listened to some of the stuff Zeppelin was doing. There's like a 4 CD set,
sure.
A DVD, and I got it, watched it that whole night, and the sounds that they were getting in the late 60s, how are they generating that?
We're trying shit out. They were just trying shit out.
Amazing.
They just, it wasn't like nowadays, you got 2 days to do an album, so do it, you just do it. You've got a list of how you do it, and you don't try shit, you just do it. Back then, they took the time, and they made music, and everything was important. And even Abbey Roads was really weird. I mean, the guys walked around in lab coats, and they had the strict rules about how things were connected together and shit. And, it was like being in a clinic, But I read a lot about the Beatles back then. When they wanted to experiment with some weird stuff, they had to wait till everybody went home at night, when nobody could look, because the engineers would get in trouble for trying out strange shit. And they want to make all the weird sounds. And that's what Zeppelin and all those guys back then, they did that, made them special, I think, And they definitely miss that today. Nowadays, everybody turns laptops on, calls up some crappy whatever sound thing module that does this and that. That's why all the bands sound the same. My opinion. But.
Okay. Producer, engineer, mixer, songwriter, guitarist, bass player, what is next on the list for you?
Oh, nothing more. Definitely not.
I mean, you've covered it pretty much.
I'm not gonna start playing drums or some shit like that. Hell no. No, I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'd like to learn how to cook one day because I'm not very good at that. But
so there is something on the list.
That's something I want to do for me just because I like to eat.
Yeah,
it,
sure.
But no, I've got no other ambitions at the moment. I want to keep building my microphones because that's fun. Me and Mike will get a big kick out of it, so I don't think that we're going to stop anytime soon. And no, other than that, there's nothing I can mention.
Well, you just turned 50, and just this past November. Any misconceptions that have been dispelled about turning 50?
No, not at all.
Oh, there's your aliens. So
there's my aliens. Yeah. So I thought it was Star Trek. No, my arms didn't fall off like I expected. I expected to get a hernia. I thought that was something that happens when you turn 50. And, yeah, sure, I feel old, but
really?
As old as you feel. I mean, I feel old compared to, I remember being 19, that's why I feel old. I feel old in the respect that when I get up, things crack a little bit more.
When I think of 30 years ago, I think sometime during the 70s.
Okay,
and that's almost like 1990 at this point.
Exactly, exactly. So I don't feel old in that respect, but I notice some things like I can't see as good as I used to, you know. I definitely can't react as good as I used to, and I can't carry things like I used to. But other than that, you know, I feel like me, all the same, and I'm just doing what I do, and I'm not going to change any of that either.
Just a little bit more experience and more wiser.
Yeah, I know more. That's cool. That's definitely a good, big plus.
Do you have any guilty musical pleasures? You know, sort of like in my spare time when no one's watching, I listen to harp music or Irish folk. Or
I'm a huge disco fan.
A what? A what?
Disco.
Disco fan.
70s disco.
I suppose that's gone by the wayside, but I mean, I think that's probably had some kind of comeback.
Yeah, but I've always loved it because it was, first of all, it was real. It's not like this dance crap today is 110% plastic. I mean, it comes out of a computer. There's no drummer. There's no, and the singer, I don't know if that's real either, to be honest. And in the 70s, it was based on a beat, and it was tight, and the bass player had this little sequence that carried the whole damn song. And that was always impressed me. Everything was synchronicity. Everybody was doing something else, and it all worked together. And all these little bits made this one huge thing. You know, they would have 12 people on stage, or dancers, and it was just a completely different thing. And it was all still about just simple, naive dancing. You know, but it was still an amazing sounding. You got to admit, if you hear something like Celebration, Earth, Wind and Fire.
The beat, the rhythm.
You can't, if you sit still hearing that song, something's
wrong with you.
Something's wrong. It's not because I like metal and crap like that, because it's just a great song, and it's fun to hear, and it gets you going, and that's why I love the 70s, not just all 70s music, I especially like 70s disco. Bee Gees, I love it to death.
Okay. Alright, to wind this up, I ask you either or. So let's see, ice cream or cake?
Oh God, I like either of them. Okay, ice cream, it has to be.
There's always room for ice cream.
Yeah.
Reading a book or watching TV?
I'm kind of in the middle there. I love audibles.
Audibles?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. That's an easy way of reading a book.
Exactly, audiobook, because I like to sit there with my eyes closed. And it's hard to read with your eyes closed. Yeah. And if you're listening to it, that's just great. That's why I like that. And then just looking at a stupid box, it sort of kills my fantasy,
right?
Because when you know how it is, you read a book and you got these amazing pictures in your head, and then you see the movie and you're like,
the book was better.
Definitely, the book was better. Well, that's why I like the audible. When you're driving your car, I like to drive and listen to shit like that. So I'll have to choose the book.
Cool. All right. This is redundant, but analog or digital?
Depending on what we're talking about. But
okay.
When the music goes, definitely analog.
Analog. That's why I said it's redundant. So, let's see, summer or winter?
Definitely summer. Only summer.
Yeah, there are some people who actually love winter.
No, those people are weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Canadian, and I've seen enough snow in my lifetime. I don't need to see it
enough. Yep.
I've had it.
I saw something 2 days ago. It's enough. Don't need it again.
Okay, last one. Sword or pen?
Definitely a pen. Definitely a pen.
Yeah, one song at a time.
One song at a time. With a pen or... Yes. Yeah. Okay, yes. Well... A sword, I can only see either you're going to cut tomatoes with it, or there's no good in the damn thing.
Well, they always say that the pen, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Of course, the pen is mightier than the sword, and the sword only leads you to evil. Yeah. A pen, unless you poke somebody in the eye with it, it's pretty harmless, isn't it?
Right. Well, Dennis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very interesting chat.
It was fun.